attention. Doesn't have enough attention. He needs his handwriting needs improvement. But only one of the 20 teachers in the last 2 years have figured out that this kid knows a lot more than his classmates. So
sure.
That's the only thing. And we're
so let's take a pause. Let's take a pause. Let's forget the education system for some time.
Okay, sir.
Let's take a pause and let's step back and say, hey, forget the education system, forget everything. First, let's start with what do I want, for my child? Not in terms of which school or which system or what. That's not the question. The question is, what do I want for my child? As in, what is it that I would, or let's say, wish for my child? Even if not want, wish for my child. What is it that we are looking for? And then we can see from there what we build. And the wish could be short term, could be preferably a little more longer term, as in overall for my children, not even for just your son. You have a younger one also, right, Krishna Prasad? So you can even think about, hey, for my 2 children, what do I want as an overall thing? So what thoughts are there? You both can share your thoughts.
So this my wife and I keep discussing, right? For Advai, if you give him the textbook, he can go through by himself, right? And right now in English classes and all of that, he's already in chapter 10, 12, and he's quite self-sufficient. If you ask him, he's got a very good memory.
Wait. Again, you've gone on to him. Wait. Don't think about the child in the present space. Think about in the whole space. What exactly is that we would like to, as a parent, what would I like to wish for my child?
This fellow is a genius, sir. I feel I feel he is really scheduled to do great things in life, because he's gifted beyond what I see, like my capability or my wife's. So I just want him to realize his full potential, because right now he's being curtailed. He's like a square peg round hole sort of scenario. I want him to explore the possibilities of his potential to the fullest.
Okay. So across so the two keywords I pick up from what you shared is potential and possibilities, which are in some ways synonymous, but we'll come to that. Yeah, Seema, what would you like for your child?
Grow up, be independent, do your own stuff. I'm here if you need me. But yeah, like to be able to got a human life, enjoy it, be able to live independently and make sensible decisions, don't hurt other people, be a good human and grow up. That's all.
Okay.
And should have while he's growing up, of course, acquire means to figure out his own livelihood and also independent based.
Sure. Which I
cannot take care of him forever.
Sure. Right. So there is one small component of kind of take care of your needs, and another bigger component is live your life. All right. So interesting. So when you say live your life, when you say potential, to me, they're the same thing. Meaning, what is somebody's potential? How will anybody know? Nobody knows. Right? And there is no way to know. Even if somebody claims, then I would say, okay, meaning Mr. God, thank you, welcome to, whatever, glad to meet you kind of thing. So meaning it's not something which can be, it's a word, it's a nice word, but to be very practical, that's just not possible. So what is possible is, one possibility is we can let them drive their own life and live their own life. Now, if they want to live it in a certain way, live it to whatever you can call it, fullest or whatever it is, they will live that way, isn't it? They would, if somebody wants to be a cricketer, he would become a cricketer, in the sense, to whatever level he plays. I'm not trying to say everybody plays at the top level, but what I'm trying to say is that each one would, given their space, given the choices, which is what to me translates from the word possibilities that you shared. Okay, once we offer them the possibilities, so the keywords that you all shared is actually what is open learning. On one side, you have the child whom we want him to discover his own potential, his own life. So life and potential to me again are synonymous, meaning what is my life, whatever, however, whichever potential I want to. There is no written potential, meaning is Nobel Prize of potential. No, no, no. It's whatever life, he wants to live. That's absolutely fine, I guess. Right? That's his potential. That's how he wants to see his life. I'm talking about long term, the next 60 years of his life. I'm not talking about just the childhood part. Right? And the moment we think about it this way, that, okay, it is his life and that's his potential, then for him to realize that, the answer you have already shared, what we need to offer the child is possibilities. Right? Wouldn't we like to go ahead to the child and say, hey, everything is possible. Go ahead, what do you want to do? Does that make sense? I mean, you yourself said the word possibility. To me, it's a beautiful word because it just shows what life is all about. It is what the world is all about. It is what life is all about. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of possibilities. Just go ahead and see which one you want to go into, whether you want to fly into space, or whether you want to be a musician, or whether you want to do multiple things, not even one thing, or whether you want to run a tea shop at the corner of the street. Finally, it's your possibility. And the choices are yours. What we can offer is possibilities. So if there is, the way I understand open learning, what is open learning? Is open learning says, hey, let's offer the children all the possibilities that are available, which are many. There are millions of possibilities. Can I offer all of them to the child and let the child decide what the child wants to do? It's as simple as that. Why should we constrain the child in any which way? Why should there be a curriculum to constrain the child? Why should there be a particular benchmark to constrain the child? Like you said, Krishna Prasad, he's already struggling with the so-called benchmarks or so-called structure or so-called curriculum, because they're not designed keeping him in mind. They're designed keeping, I don't know whom in mind. I really am a loss. But let's say they're designed by somebody keeping something in mind, whatever it is. Okay. But they're definitely not designed keeping your child in mind, right, Seema? It's designed keeping somebody else in mind. Now, the only person who can really, or the only group of people who can really understand that, okay, what is it that this child is looking for, is the parents, is the family, is the child himself, when offered the possibilities. So, yeah. Hi, Santosh. Welcome. We just started our discussion.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's what open learning is all about. Open learning is all about offering the possibilities to the child. Yeah. Now your thoughts.
Okay, sir. Sir.
You can, Santosh, you can just call me Ratnesh. That's my name. You don't need to call me sir or anything.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Sir, you know Telugu, sir?
No, I don't know Telugu.
Okay, sir. I will little bit manage in English only, sir.
Sure. And then I can get somebody who is well versed in Telugu to speak to you. I will give you the number of my colleague. You can speak to her. She knows Telugu very well. But right
sir.
now, yeah.
Sir, actually, I intend to join my son in our institution, sir. I read about all particulars in your in Google, sir, about your school.
Yeah.
It's very nice, sir. It's totally different and giving full freedom to him to enjoy with his activities. He will much focus on his activities, sir, in our school. But at the same time, if suppose he likes science, means he goes on only in science subject only, sir. But he did not concentrate in maths, English, and other subjects, sir. Is it good for his future, sir?
Well, I don't know what is good for his future or not. I think the best person to decide what's good for him is he. He has to figure out what's good for him, what works for him.
But his age is not capable, no, sir. It is
I
good
think
or
he's
bad.
capable. How old is he?
His age will not decide, sir. After
How old is he?
18 years, sir.
How
Eight.
old is he?
8 years,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, so we've got all 7 and 8-year-olds today. And yeah, okay, and all 3 boys. What a coincidence. So Santosh,
Sir.
according to me, at what age will he become capable? You tell me. If at 7 he is not capable, then at what age will he become capable?
6
So-
to 14 years, they will not decide correctly, sir. Whatever
how do we know that?
want.
How
Sir?
do we know? How do we know that whether they can decide correctly or not?
Yes, I will tell, sir.
Okay,
Uh,
Chanakya, before that,
Chanakya is there, sir.
yeah, before that,
Sir.
Krishna Prasad, how old is your younger child? He or she? Sorry.
This is a boy, and I guess 7 months is the
7 months.
8, whatever.
Okay, 7, 8
7.
months. Is he old enough to decide what he wants to do the whole day?
Maybe not. Definitely not right now.
He's not. Is there anything you can decide for him, or he decides when he wants to
So I
eat,
think we
when he wants to
actually
sleep, when he wants to
we
play?
recognize his needs. No, yeah, you're right, sir. Actually, he decides what he wants to do.
You are
But
only
we
the
have to figure
supplier.
out and supplement it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you are the
that's right.
supplier, right?
Exactly.
Or if
Correct.
I want to give
Exactly.
you even more respect, I will say we are the peons. We are the followers. He's the leader. So Santosh, at 7 months, he is leading his life. He's deciding when to eat, what to touch, what not to touch, where to go. If he wants, he will demand it. He will cry. He will shout till he gets what he wants. Right? Another
Sir.
1 or 2 years, he will be totally in control of his life. Right? A 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old is totally in control of their lives. They learn mother tongue on their own. They learn how to walk on their own. You literally take anything, they learn completely by themselves. Right? You can't teach a 1-year-old mother tongue. He will learn based on what he listens. And you are talking just normal things. You're not
Yes,
even
sir.
trying to tell him that no, this is how it is spoken. So if a 1-year-old is capable of learning what he wants to learn, why can't a 7-year-old be capable? Okay, so we have 2 choices.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me. We have 2 choices. We can either say that at 7 they are not capable, or we can say that at 7 they are capable. Okay. If you think that they are capable, then that's how it is. Then we work with them as the leader and we are the followers. Right? But if we think that they are not capable, then we have to do everything for them.
Okay, sir. But as per the teachings of Chanakya in his book, sir, 1 to 5 years, we just love with them, sir. After 6 to 14 years, we have to control them, sir. After 12, we have to make friendship with them, sir. That is the principle. If we give complete freedom to them at the age of 8 years, he will survive, sir.
No,
If you
I
go
am
in
not.
a
I did
negative
not say
way,
anything about giving them freedom. Did I say that? Did I use that word? No. I am not talking about
sir.
giving them freedom. I am talking about giving them responsibility.
Okay, sir.
At 7 years, who should be
Another question
responsible
is,
for? At 7 years, who should be responsible for your son? Yeah. You 3 have to think about, and you and your spouses to think about who has to be responsible for your son's learning. You, some teacher, or he himself?
he himself is correct, sir.
Yeah.
But we have to guide them in a proper way, sir.
Surely, we are there to guide, right? We are not running away anywhere. But the problem is we take away the responsibility. The teacher tells this is what you should learn. Then who is responsible? The teacher is responsible, whether the child wants to learn or not. But the moment the child is responsible for his learning, then where is the problem?
Actually, my doubt is, sir, if he yours is a homeschooling education,
No,
whatever
mine is
the
not homeschooling education.
home life education.
No, remove the word education. Let's remove the word
Okay.
education.
Okay, sir.
It is not homeschooling. We are not trying to
Okay.
school him at home, right?
Okay.
We are trying to say, you decide what you want to learn, how much you
Yes,
want
sir.
to learn, with whose help you want to learn, what resources you need, what guidance you need, what support you need. You have to decide. We are
Okay,
there
sir.
to give you support, right? We are the suppliers of
Okay,
whatever
sir.
support, resources, help that you need. But you decide, because whatever you want, you can decide and you can take
Okay, sir.
from there.
Sir.
Yeah.
But remaining, if he likes only one subject, means what about the remaining subjects, sir? For 10th class, minimum subject knowledge is necessary in all subjects, sir.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe if he is interested in one subject or one
Yes, sir.
field, you are talking
Yes.
about subject. I'm not even talking about subject. What about he likes music? If he
Yes, sir.
likes music, he can become a musician. Why does he need 10th class?
Yes, sir.
Seema, you want to share something? Just one moment, Santosh. Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay,
had
sir.
a question.
Yeah.
I had a question. So, and this is something that I am facing now with my son, which is when there is a lot of choice, it is difficult for learners. In fact, I'm facing so much this with myself also. It is very difficult for us to choose what we want when there is so much choice. So, if at adult age also, I feel so difficult as to how to choose, what to choose. Like, for example, I don't know if I should use an example, but like, for example, I want to study psychology and there is so much. And I'm like, should I do an online course? Should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know where to start and all of that. And then, of course, then figuring out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like rather than that,
I think that.
if there was a way to for someone to guide, to structure, to help me structure, wouldn't that be better? So then I think Santosh ji needs to be.
Yeah.
So then in that case, I was thinking that when kids have so many options, it must be very confusing for them also to choose and then to structure and organize their learning and planning and everything. That feels too much to take care of as a child. Like as an adult also, I feel like this so much. So I'm just wondering how do we make a child respond? Like I feel like it is, in a way how we say academics ka pressure mat dalo. So I feel like this is also some kind of a pressure to be able to, in so many things, how do I find out how do I decide what I want, then plan, then structure, then, create my own learning plan and all of that.
Okay.
Have you ever faced such a situation with a child where it's difficult?
No, I have not faced any problem. I have not faced any problem because I don't have an ideal way of doing things in my mind, right? And when we are open in open learning, we are open, right? However, the child wants to lead. So if the child says, for example, or let's say a child called Seema says, I want to learn psychology, right? And I don't know where to start. We'll say, great. Okay. Then we will say, okay, what would you like to start with? And you will say, I don't know. Maybe I may want to join a small course, maybe just to start. Maybe you will say that. We'll say, okay, so join a course. Or you may say, no, I want to start with some book. Okay, I'm looking for some, let's say, recommendation. Okay, so then we'll say, okay, let's look for recommendation. Right. So the point is, you start off somewhere. And then depending on you as Seema, you will see whether you need more structure, less structure, whether you need more guidance, less guidance, where you need co-passengers, as in others also doing the same thing so that you have somebody to work with, or whether you want to do alone. No, who will decide all of that? Right? Is it something that should be standardized, or is it something which will evolve as you start your journey of, in this case, psychology? Huh? So there is no, because there is no expectation that Seema, you have to do this much in this much time in this much way. There is no pressure on you. You may say, okay, I want to start with a book, and you may ask for recommendation, and let's say Krishna Prasad says, hey, this is a good book on psychology. So Seema will say, okay, let me start reading this. You will buy that book. You have read 20 pages and you're totally bored. Okay, you say, no, this was a bad idea. Okay, cool. So now you can move on to another idea. But you have the freedom to organically figure out what works for me, what does not work for you. And because there is no hurry, because there is no end result, because there is no final exam staring at you that you have to get this much only, that too some teacher decides or some system decides, only then you are, why are you learning psychology? Because you feel like it's your interest. Nobody else told you, right? There is no dagger hanging by your head, or there is no constitution hanging on your head saying that you have to do this. And because you're doing it out of your interest, your own design will evolve, guided by everybody around you. Just imagine right now, let's say we are 4 people around you. We have Krishna Prasad, me, and Dwiji has joined. So Dwiji, so we are 4 of us. Okay. So 4 of us can, to whatever extent we can guide you, we'll guide you. And if you think of 4,000 people around you, or 4 million, because their internet is available with all kinds of recommendations and things like that, you can just go ahead. So if you ask me, is a 7-year-old, or for that matter, 1-year-old also has so many options, and a 7-year-old also has million options, and a 14-year-old and whatever is mine and your age, all of us have options. The pressure is not because of the options. The pressure is when there's an expectation that I will choose the right option, because there is no right option. The moment I have the freedom to pick an option and say, no, I say I want to I want to learn guitar, put me to a guitar class. Okay, join a guitar class. After 1 week, this is too difficult, I can't do guitar. Let's leave guitar. Let's go to learn about something else. Let's say cooking. Now, if nobody is coming behind me and says, why did you choose guitar? You wasted the money. You joined it for 7 days. How can you leave it? You are not sticking to one thing. If all that pressure is on me, then it's stressful. But if somebody says, good, you're exploring. And what is the right age to explore, Seema?
That's from the day we're born, we keep exploring everything.
And hopefully till we die. Right? And if there is no age and if there's no expectation, okay, and we can go deeper into whatever, then there is no problem. And there is no stress. So the stress only comes because, again, there is a whole circle of expectations that we built in. And that's where the stress comes in. So in open learning, if there is stress in open learning, what's the point of doing it? The whole point of open learning is you decide. Today, you may spend 5 hours playing cricket and 2 hours doing psychology. Tomorrow, you may get more interest in psychology. To hell with cricket, I'll just play 1 hour cricket and 7 hours psychology. Who knows? Right. And when you say, I need help with structure, right now, Krishna Prasad will say, okay, come, I will help you plan out your studies or whatever, plan out your learning. Right. So anybody can help you. And we're not even talking about your son. We're right now talking about you. And when your son comes into the picture, again, all the people around him, which we call as community, will help him. Right? Right now, his community is immediately the parents and the family, immediate family, maybe some uncles, aunts, which could be family friends, which could be relatives. But as you grow the community, which is what Arohi is, it's a community of families. You know that very well. So then the whole community is there to give you ideas, support. You need structure, you need this, you need that. Just to give you one example, about 2 weeks back, I was chit-chatting with a girl. She's about, I think 14 or 15. And she says, Uncle, I'm really interested in writing, right? So what should I do? I said, if you are interested in writing, write. Isn't that the simplest thing? If you're interested in writing, what you should do, you should write. Simple, right? I said, good. So from tomorrow onwards, I will give you a prompt. And every day I will give you a prompt and you have to write on that prompt. Yeah, I'll just give you the prompt. Nobody will check your writing. Nobody will give you feedback. No thumbs up, no thumbs down, no comments, no nothing. Just write every single day. And why only you? We threw this offer to the whole community. Whoever wants to join this girl. So we formed a group. We called it SWAD, Serious Writers of Arohi Daily. That's the full form of SWAD. So we formed this group 2 weeks back. Okay. And about 10, 12 people have joined that group. Adults, children, mix, right? The youngest person who has joined that group is some 50-year-old. The oldest is 7-year-old, right? And they're all just writing daily. And daily different prompts are being given to them. Right? Now, you see the structure has come about. Right? Some structure has come about. And they're enjoying writing and nobody, no feedbacks, no comments, no nothing. It's all just writing.
So if there's no feedback, no comments, nothing, and the person wants to improve in their, how will she?
If you write for 365 days and you've written 365 times, you tell me what will that do to you? First, let's look at that before we rush into, again, we think we are again so much outside driven. First, let's see, there's so much feedback that we ourselves have for ourselves. First, we need to wake that me inside before we invite others. It is not that we will not invite others' feedback. Imagine she writes 365 days and then she puts that in a portfolio. And now she says, Seema auntie, can you read through my 365 days work and give me feedback? Now, is that feedback more valuable or a one-day writing she sends you that will be more valuable? You're seeing the point? So let's not go by these constructs that we immediately need something. What we immediately need is to grow our own potential, which is what Krishna Prasad was talking about. How do I grow that potential? By doing only, na? I can't sit in theory and say, "Mera potential badhao, yaar." There's no potentiometer there. Usko dial ghumao types. I have to do. Action is the only way in which I can, whatever, we can say, get the genie out of me, out of my bottle. I have to rub the genie, or rather rub the bottle. And that is by action. That is by doing. And how can the child do it if the child is said, no, you don't do it this way, you do it this way, you only write this way. If we put all kinds of no's around the child, but when the child says, I want to do this, then there's no stopping. Or for that matter, not just child, when anybody wants to do anything, where is the stopping? If you want to do something, you just go ahead and do it. However, you ask your neighbor, you join a class, you look up Google, you buy a book, you try it yourself, you fail. All the methods are all available. We are not saying that teaching is bad, not at all. But when the child wants to learn and comes to Seema auntie, teach me this, then it makes sense for Seema auntie to teach him.
Makes sense.
So that is open learning.
And is this the same structure that roughly the same sort of structure you follow in Arohi, the way it works? Like if my son is interested in, let's say, reading, or like Seema said, writing, or any for that matter, psychology. So you form a group of people and allow them to explore.
Not
is
at
that
all.
what? Okay.
This was just an example. Okay, how structure can come evolve.
Right. Okay.
Just 1 minute. There's some dogs howling in my background. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, if you're okay with the dogs in the background. So
better than the honking in the cities. It's all right. So welcome change. It's okay.
So No, no, no. The first person to think about how I want to go about doing it is the child. Because that's again, you're talking about potential. I'm also talking about potential. How do I make the potential come out of the child? By giving him the opportunity and saying, whatever you want to learn, how do you want to learn? If the child says, I want a group, then who should form that group? Please tell me. The child, because that's again the child's potential. Even the social potential, right? Even that is important. So in most cases, the child only drives, the child only finds whom I can connect with. We can just facilitate that process by bringing in more people. We can bringing in more connections. If he's saying, I'm not finding anybody else interested in this topic, that's when we can say, okay, I can play a role. If he comes to you and says, Dad, I want to play football, I need another player on the other side, at least one more player. Okay. Then you can say, okay, let's see who are the other children around. If you're not finding yourself any friends, let's see if there is a group of football. So I'm saying, sure, you will assist, but only when he comes to you and says, then Dad, I can't find. But if he comes to you and says, Dad, I found a friend and I'm playing football with her, you will have no problem, right? So in most cases, children only figure out their ways. In some cases, they need our help. And the help could be, or support could be given by anybody, parent, okay, any one of the parents or any one of the community members. Or even any other child can give an idea. So it's all very organic. It's not something which is pre-decided that the moment child says something, we'll tuck, form some group and put them in. No. That's not the point. Right? The point is how the child evolves it, how the child thinks about it, where the child is, and so on and so forth. It's actually true for us also. Some of us want a small group to learn with. Some of us just want me and my I just want to go solo. Some of us want to join a class. Some of us want to actually do a formal workshop, and so on and so forth. Each one has own choices. And in some ways, that is what it is all about. Like you said, your child reads up to 14th, 15th chapter already. Okay. So I would say to him, okay, so what do you want to learn? Forget how you want to learn. First, what do you want to learn? He may say electronics, he may say football, he may say embroidery, I don't know. Or he may say all of these three at this age. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, and how much time do you want to spend on each one of those? He can decide. He may spend many hours on one thing, little time on another thing, and that can change tomorrow and day after. So the whole journey just kind of rolls and evolves with the support of everybody around him, especially the parents. So there is no one formula. The moment there is a formula, there is no open learning. Then we think formula is better than us. But what we are saying is, no, let each one of us drive himself rather than some formula. Yeah, it's like your younger son. If you give him banana and if he spits it out, you try again. And if he again spits it out, you say, let's give him apple now, right? If he doesn't like banana, let's give him apple, man. What's the big deal, right? So that's the whole thing.
Strange coincidence. That's exactly what happened here, but with papaya though.
Yeah, anything. So, what is our job? Our job is, as I said, is we are suppliers, we are peons. We keep coming up with whatever, depending on the age of the child. 1-year-old has to be offered banana and papaya and whatever. The 7-year-old in fruits, we don't need to offer him anymore. He can figure out in the kitchen. But maybe for some other things, he may need help with resources. Let's say going somewhere and doing something. If he says, I want to go and see this museum, obviously we will have to go with him. And double his age, 14-year-old may just go by himself, catch a bus and go. He may not even bother. He may even, rather than asking you, he'll inform you. I'm going down. I'm going, Dad. I'm going, Mom. And I'll let you know later where I'm going. So it will happen very naturally.
Just to express my thoughts, I think all our lives have been programmed to be dealt with structure, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's a little unnerving, rather.
Absolutely.
It's a territory that you haven't explored, right? It's like the stepping into the unknown. That's the sort of feeling you get when you say, okay, you have the freedom. I wish I had that maybe few years back, but no, I see what you're
But I
proposing.
want to little counter that thought by saying it's not that it is new to you. In many learnings of your life, if you look back the last 10 years of your life, or after the college, you would have learned so many things because you wanted to learn them, not because anybody else programmed it for you. You would
That's
have
true.
gone, okay, including choosing our spouses, whether arranged or love marriage, including deciding to have a child, including having a child itself is an uncharted territory. Nobody can prepare for us. Only when we have a child, we realize, oh my goodness, this is what the responsibility is, or this is what the game is. So I'm saying we are actually, as human beings, in some ways we are scared of this uncharted, but in some ways we can't live without it. That's the fun of life. That's the joy. The whole act of, okay, now we get into, well, let's say marriage, or this kind of work, or that kind of city, or that kind of parenting, or whatever. It's all, we are all the time kind of partially groping in the dark, partially learning from others, partially looking out and seeing where can I get support. So as human beings, we need all of these. So we are not taking out the support, not taking out guidance, not taking out resources. We are just saying, hey, drive yourself, decide what you want to do. So in that sense, yeah, I agree it is unnerving, less because it's not that we haven't taken so many decisions like that, but it's more unnerving because possibly we, in name of education, we followed a standardized path. And that's why it is little kind of I agree, it can be a discomfort zone initially. And which is why, again, a community helps. When today in our campus, we had a small get together of some of our families who are part of the campus. So we were around what, 25 of us here. Now, the important part was that all of us are engaged in open learning in some way or the other, not exactly the same way. Each family has its own flavor, just like each family lives in their life in own way. They do open learning also in own way. And that's the beauty. Oh, to see that there are so many people. Like Dwiji is there, he's quiet. He has raised his hand. Okay. So like Dwiji is there, he's one of the community member. His family is one of the families. And there's so much I can learn and get, you can say, if nothing else, emotional assurance. We are all together in this boat, right? So he can guide me and hopefully I can guide him. And so on. Yeah, Dwiji, and I didn't see your raised hand, but you can anyway come on, Mike. Go ahead. You want to share something? Dwiji, are you there? You are on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was talking without unmuting. Hi, everyone. I was waiting to hear today's theme in your talk, Ratnesh, in your answers. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Dwiji. And like Ratnesh said, I am a member in the Arohi community. I've been, my daughter is 11 and a half years old. And she's been going to Arohi for about 3 years now. And yeah, so see, if I take the discussion, I sorry, I joined late. I joined about 20 minutes ago. But if I follow the thread, one thing that, and that's very relevant to the theme of the day, see, the whole reassurance comes from the idea that someone else is defining what is success. You pass your BSc or whatever, BA in psychology, you write your book and reviewers approve of it and give you a good review, or you achieve a certain amount of sales, right? Or even before that, some manuscript reader will approve your book for manuscript for publication, right? So the references in conventional life is invariably externalized. So the definition of success is something that is defined by someone. All you need to do is measure up to that standard, right? And that gives you not just you, but all of us, it gives us a definite target, right? You don't, so if I have a bow and an arrow and I want to shoot it to the target, right? if there's a big bullseye in front of me, it's much easier for me to aim and get the target. Now, suppose there isn't a target. I have to find out where is that bird in the, in the foliage. That's much more difficult, right? Or it seems much more difficult when you don't know what you're looking for. But that's the beauty of an open learner, because the open learner will invariably have their target very clearly visible to them. I want to do this, right? I don't want banana, I want something else. If we follow the analogy earlier, right? They may not know what that something else is, but it is not this thing, right? So their target is quite clear. So in open learning, what we are trying to do is nurture that sense of independence, of being bold enough to recognize and acknowledge that, hey, this is where my success is. My success is in getting pineapple piece, right? Not in accepting the banana that is given to me, right? Or maybe they want a bonda and not a banana at all. I mean, I don't know. So, when we think of open learning and when we think of reassurance, when we think of confidence, when we think of feeling safe, it invariably comes from that notion that I know this is what I need to do. Now I can achieve that because everyone else has done that or everyone else is seeing that. So I hope I have added some confusion to your thoughts. But I was itching to bring in the theme of the day, at least at the end of the hour.
Yeah.
Any questions, thoughts, reactions, please share. And there's just 4 of us. You can just unmute yourself and stay unmuted, I would say.
So it was interesting when you mentioned about the target and, I mean, something similar. I was talking earlier to Ratnesh ji about, like, isn't it too difficult when you don't know what you want? Like and then of course he explained the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I like this example also, like, yes, it is easier when you have a target. हाँ बस उसी को मारना है, okay, but when you have to find your own target, it does create a lot of chaos in your mind, in your physical
That's true.
actions.
Only as long as you haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is one really nice psychology thing, given that Seema, you had talked about psychology. There's a video of a football match, and it's like a set of people who have been put in front of a TV screen and shown a football match. And this person says, the person who's brought them all together, he says, look, I'm going to show you a football match, and I would like you to observe how many passes are done to the by the the attacking team before the ball reaches the goal.
Are you talking about the gorilla experiment?
Yeah. There you go. I don't have to go any further. So Seema, could you just continue that?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we have a target, okay, that's very interesting. Yes, it's like you will ignore everything else when you're looking at something, but when you don't know what you're looking for, you're paying attention to a lot of things, and that's I get your point.
Okay,
And
could you share it for
go ahead.
Ratnesh, you know about this?
Yeah. Seema, you can share it for, if you can finish that, what the experiment is for Krishna Prasad.
Yeah, so basically the experiment is, so the audience is asked to see how many passes were made. And there was another group, so 2 control groups. Group A is asked to do that. And then I think after some time, so they're asked to count the number of goals, and they all like properly pay attention and count how many passes or number of goals or whatever they need to count. And they're very focused on that. And then after some time, they are asked, did you see a gorilla on the ground? And they were like, no, there was no gorilla. And then they show the video again and they say, okay, look, there was a gorilla, but you couldn't see it because you were so focused on counting the number of goals and the number of passes and all of that. So yeah, that was the experiment.
I actually didn't know it until you explained it. But what I had seen happen, I think there's something, there's on National Geographic or some channel like that, there is an experiment, sort of a video or a series that says crowd control or something like that, where he actually demonstrates different techniques. I had seen that there.
100
And
humans?
say that again, please.
But I think you're talking about 100 humans, the show 100 humans, I guess.
Probably I'm bad at like recollecting, but I
okay.
definitely remember this, like the control group not being able to see, like pay attention to it. And I think it's the science behind it, because when your brain is focused, it like kind of doesn't want to use up energy on unwanted things, focus on the tasks. That it's like that's what it is. No, it's a good example. Thank you for sharing.
So that's the idea of defining your own definition of success, or finding your own definition of success, rather than going by what is put in front of you as, count the number of passes and you will pass, right? So if people are not told, you have to get 60% out of 100% in this exam, their learning experience will be very different. Right? So that's the whole idea. So bringing it back to the theme of the day, of defining our own success and measuring our success as we go about in life. And actually, if you think about it, in real world, we all practice this, right? Yeah. We all practice this. We said, what is our goal? And then identify, okay, do we want to go further or no? Or do we say, okay, we have achieved our target. Now let's go to the next level, or let's call it quits here. Right? So we exercise this discretion, but somehow we feel in the intermediate, in the most critical, the formative years of our life, we want to conform to a system which doesn't necessarily care about everything that we care about, right?
So I want to share.
Defines its own.
Yeah, sorry, Ruchi. I thought it's the right place to share. I want to share about both of my children. Right, my daughter is now 23. She has not gone to school or college, no 10th, no 12th. So she's illiterate from the standards of benchmarks. She's that kind who has been, who does not want to focus on any one thing. So she has been exploring, doing lots of different things. Within each thing, finding lots of interesting things for her, and so on and so forth. And she continues her journey so much so that she just didn't give a damn about success. In her dictionary, this word success itself is not there, right? She just wants to enjoy anything and anything she wants to dip her fingers into. And she's exactly like that. She enjoys anything she's doing at that moment. At the age of 23 also, she's doing multiple things, and she's totally doing that, right? With no constraints, no boundaries, no need to success. If you ask her, do you want to be success? She says, cha, I just want to enjoy myself, right? That's continuously she tells us for the last 10 years. So that's one child of mine. My son is 16 years. He has also never gone to any school, college, no tension, nothing. Okay. But he's complete opposite. He just wants one focus. He would not see the gorilla because he's a footballer. He's an actual footballer. He wants to become a professional footballer, and he's so focused, he doesn't want to do anything else. So 7 days a week, he only thinks, eats, drinks, plays football. Right. And for him, success has a very clear definition. I want to reach this level. I want to play that level, and whatever. That's his definition of success. Right. That's not our definition. We have no problem whether he plays there, he reaches that level, does not reach his level. But that's right now. His definition of success is very, very clear, and he kind of worships success in that sense. While on the other side, daughter, both are open learners, both are deciding how they design their life. Both are in that sense quite opposite to each other. My son needs the structure of a coach, of a calculated thing. He has detailed spreadsheets to plan his day. This is when I'm exercising, and if I call him in between, he gets bugged. Why are you calling me now? You know, this is my exercise time. So like that is how he does it. Right? Well, my daughter is totally opposite. You call her anytime, she says, "Ah, theek hai, mera kaam ho jayega. Let me chit chat with you for some time." So I'm just saying how that is the beauty of it. We don't need to get caught up in anything. We need to in open learning, each child defines, drives, evolves their own definition of life, success, ingredients, structure, design, whatever you want these terms, curriculum, okay, and so on and so forth. Somebody may need a lot of guides, somebody may not need. It's all, I know that's a lot of input, but I'm just giving you how things can be very contrasting and each can evolve in its own way. So I thought this was an appropriate time to little share about my children.
I know we are about to end, but your end sharing has brought up new questions to my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe when I come there, we can talk more about it. I understand
Sure,
it's 6
sure.
o'clock now. We'll end the meeting. But yeah, it is very interesting that you shared about your own kids. I'm glad to hear about it, but it also a little bit worries me because I'm like, if my child decides, okay, there's also a real world which, like, you need to meet your own needs, right? So if you are going that way, are you going to be able to meet your own needs, or are you going to be dependent on your parents? And is that, like, I feel a little bit of a pressure, especially like if yeah. So anyways, when we meet, we'll talk more
No,
about
let's
that as
talk about
well.
it. Let's talk. When we meet, we will do it differently. We will not talk about it. You will see it, right? The beauty is, Seema, is that we think first of all, we think it's our job to worry about them, right? And that to worry about something which we don't even know. It's future. We can't even
Yeah,
define
but
it.
Ratnesh,
We
if we
don't know.
don't figure out, we will only have to provide now.
No,
Matlab aur
no. Who's responsible for them? Why do you think you are? So
but we cannot
one
leave them
way
on the
is to.
street, no.
Sorry. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So
But we cannot leave them on the street, no.
Well, we can. We'll come to that. The first thing is we have to decide who is responsible, right? That is very, very important. The moment we think we are responsible and we need to worry and we need to do all of that, then are we really helping them or are we actually pulling them back, right? Are we actually holding them? Are we actually giving them their potential? The word that Krishna Prasad used, their potential. How will it come out when there are these stoppages, obstructions in between, or when we have allowed them to unleash themselves? That is number one. Number two, when I observe children of all ages, right, I have not even found one child where I have been thinking about ye future mein kya karega. I always think about ye future mein kya nahi karega. I mean, there's so many things that these kids can do. Any kid you put in front of me, I keep thinking, oh, he can do that, she can do that, she can do that. The word that Krishna Prasad shared is possibilities. There are so many possibilities in each one of them. I am worried the other way around. Are baap re, kya karega ye? You know what I mean? I always feel, my goodness, how can these children not create a future that they want, which will be their present? It won't be their future because they will reach it only when they reach it. So it will be present for them. Do they really need me? And I don't think so. Not even one child I have felt it that they need me in that sense, that that they will be on the street and, I have to kind of abhi ghar aaja types. What I'm trying to say is that I can only unleash their potential first if I think that they have potential. Yeah. And when you look at anybody with those eyes which believe that they have the potential, you see so much of it. I have absolutely no worries about even one child that I have worked with. Not even one child. I'm not saying that all of them have the same needs. I'm not trying to say that. All will have different needs, yeah, and different lives also. Not that they will all have $1 billion in their bank, not at all. I'm not trying to define it that way.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is I have no doubt. In fact, the more I see children, the more I say, why do we need to worry about these guys? I should only worry about myself. What do I want to do in the next 20, 30 years of my life? And what is my potential? And am I doing justice to my potential? And am I doing things which I really want to do? Where is my bucket and bucket list? I should worry about myself. I mean, these kids, they are there. We are anyway, see, we are fortunate enough to be in that sense well-to-do, right? We are not running around for 2 square meals. I hope that that's a given thing. So we are not running around at the lowest Maslow level or whatever. We are there in terms of, I'm saying, taking care of the basic needs of ours as well as our children. So what else do they need? They really don't need anything else. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying so school, college, that is one route to reach wherever they want to reach, right? And the moment I throw them into a space where they need to figure out, they figure out like so many things. So many things. So their thinking moves leaps and bounds, because then their whole potential is exposed. So when people say, how do I develop the potential of the child? I'll say, expose it. How else will it develop? It won't develop sitting inside a box saying, oh, this is not allowed, that is not allowed, this I can't do right now, I can only do this much. The kind of suffocation I think Krishna Prasad was hinting for his son. It's a suffocation, right, Krishna Prasad? Because I can only do this much, because I'm only allowed this much. Right? We are saying, and it's not just about quantity, it's also about, am I allowed to, let's say, play music whole day, or am I allowed to do embroidery whole day, or am I allowed to do whatever, make friends all day? Even being social is such an amazing skill. So any skill is good enough. And I see these children developing so many different skills in so many different ways. I say, oh, mere ko to kuch bhi nahi karna. I'm like the least required person around. So yes, so when you come, I don't want you to talk to me. I'm the least important person around here. Yeah, when you come, I want you to observe the kids and see if you can see what I'm seeing. Right? I'm seeing just them out there totally. They are like 100% there because that is how they want to be. And not that everything is whatever, everything is good. They will have problems, fights, emotional issues, but that's the masala of life. That is how they will discover themselves. That is how they will discover their, whether it's emotional quotient or, mathematical quotients or visual quotient or whatever, body quotient or whatever quotient you want. In fact, I keep telling parents who say, should I get into open learning or not? I say, beware. Once you unleash the child, the child will go full on, right? So in that sense, beware. Beware in the sense you will get to enjoy it, but then you are at the back seat now. You're no more in the front seat saying, I will take you where you should reach. You are at the back seat saying, you take me where you want to go. I'll sit back and enjoy you and your journey. Yeah, Dwiji, over to you.
Yeah, so
बहुत बोल लिया.
हाँ, बहुत बोल दिया तुमने. सोचा मैं भी थोड़ा बोल दूं. Just a small thing. If we go back to the earlier discussion, just a few minutes ago, what we were talking about, when we say, in fact, Ratnesh, I have that slight discomfort about unleashing the potential also, because the unleashing has to happen from the self.
Yeah. That we talked about it before you came, and we talked about how that is where it starts. It starts with the me. Yes, we talked about it.
Yeah, because unless they are able to recognize how much power they have, like I'm sure I'm sorry I missed the introduction, so I don't know how old your kids are.
7 each. Both of them have 7-year-olds.
Yeah, so as toddlers we would have recognized. As toddlers we would have recognized. There would have been a phase when they don't recognize how hard they can hit, or how much their pinching or biting can hurt others, right? And they need to discover that. before they realize, oh, I don't mean to hurt you. Sorry, mama. Sorry, mama. Sorry, appa is very, frequently heard in that age group, right? In that cohort. So they need to recognize the power of their potential, and that will only come when they get to exercise those muscles, right? Those muscles are not going to develop unless they do that, the kasrat of, making those decisions, stumbling. Today we met one of, like Ratnesh was mentioning, I was also on campus, and I was part of that group. And a friend of ours from the community, she shared that, 2 years they lived in a farm, earning their food by working on that farm, along with, couple and their 2 kids, the family, the entire family of 4. And she was just sharing that, it got too much. At some point, they said, this is not worth it. To hell with it. We are going back to Chennai. Right? So, a lot of adults are doing that today. And I count myself among them, and Ratnesh and Aditya, of course, are among them. So, if we adults, if you have any doubts of, and a slightly different perspective, if you have any doubts about, does your child worry about their future? The question is very easy to find the answer to. You talk to your child, right? What will you do? Today they might say, I'll become a pilot. Tomorrow they might say, I'll become a surgeon. Day after tomorrow they might come up with something else. But at that point in time, they're very clear. I want to be this. Right? So as a community which encourages and nurtures this open learning environment and instincts amongst all of us, our job, quote unquote job, is to water these instincts and nurture them and see to it that it grows to its full potential, right? And at some point they might decide, hey, I don't want to be a doctor, I would rather be a politician, right? Or they might decide, hey, what, this doctors thing, no, it's too difficult, I'll just open a business and I'll sell things that doctors want to use, or something like that, right? So what I'm trying to say is that the definition of success has to be coming from inside, and not even inside the family, inside the individual, I would say.
That child,
right? And not necessarily the child, it could be you also, right? So if Seema defines that my success is only when my son will become a billionaire, right? That is setting yourself up for a huge ask, right? So even in terms of how we define our own targets, what is it that we would consider as a success?
Yeah, because if I do that and have a criteria which is I am not in control of, I mean, obviously it is a huge task because I'm not in control of my son.
Exactly.
I can't decide the.
Yeah. So how we define our target? So in that sense, the idea of how is it okay to do this? Well, I would ask the counter question: how is it okay to do anything else? Right? जैसे आपने अभी बताया ना कि how can I decide for my? I'm not in control of my child. And there's no reason for us to be in control of our children because we can't control ourselves most of the time. So yeah.
So I also want to add this perspective is that we are not trying to say that open learning is better than, let's say, conventional learning. conventional schooling or college or whatever. In fact, we are saying open learning by definition means that every option is available. The possibilities word that Krishna Prasad shared at the beginning, that even college is available, school is also available. Okay, let's say internships is also available. Doing it by yourself is available. Entrepreneurship is available. So everything is available to you, dear. You decide which one you want to embrace. Child may say, I want to go to a school. Great, go to a school. Child may say, no, I don't want to go to a school, but at college I want to go. Okay, great, go to a college. So it really, it's in some ways, the one word that defines open learning in that sense is possibilities. And saying, hey, you go ahead and choose. We can show you the possibilities. We can expose you to the possibilities around, which you may not be aware. And that's it. Then it's really up to you. And you can switch possibilities at any time. For example, there have been children who have been part of open learning, have gone back to school, or after doing it for about 15 years, have gone back to college, and so on. So it's not like they have to choose one track. In fact, that's the beauty of open learning. Unlike Santosh, who came in and said, meaning what we are trying to say is that it's not that we are proposing a better option. We are just saying, let's be aware of the all kinds of options that are available to us as parents and to our children, and then decide how we want to go about it. So we are this whole thing is all about possibilities. And once we start thinking about the possibilities, then the decision making can happen in due course of time.
That all makes sense. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, more since you are coming to campus, Seema, you can come and experience. So in your whole plan, don't keep a plan of talking to Ratnesh. Keep a plan of observing and being with the children.
Absolutely, being involved. Yes.
Absolutely.
Of course, all of this has created a lot of turmoil. It has started long back. The turmoil continues. But yeah, I'm taking my own time to see how much I want to enter the turmoil.
Sure.
And explore,
Sure.
Ratnesh,
and the more I know, I feel like I'm getting more like it doesn't clear. The more I get into it, it is more confusing. It is only when so it's a journey. We'll figure out. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So as a next step, what would you suggest? How would we make the decision that open learning is the way forward? So what would you suggest? I'm open to your...
Okay. Yeah. So what I would suggest, Krishna Prasad, is go slow. Okay. There's no hurry to decide. Okay. I would say go slow and invest. When you go slow, I'm assuming you have more time. So invest in you and your wife discussing it at length, many conversations, talk to many more people. I can put you on to, if you want to talk to open learners, I can put you on to more open learners. If you want to come and visit here to see how this place works, you are most welcome to do that. But the whole invitation is for you to just explore it more. Yeah. Sure, Seema. I think Seema needs to take a leave. So sure, Seema. See you soon. Okay. So
Thank you.
go slow, invest yourself. You and your wife can together invest into it, including even your son, and just explore right now. Don't run into any decision. Right? As you explore more, talk to more people. That is the simplest thing. Maybe read more, and so on and so forth. And then you get an idea about, okay, so this is how it is. And then I think it should evolve organically into your life. It is not like, I mean, there could be a point where you may take a decision of, let's say, if you want to leave the school part, but the moot point is that it's not about right, wrong. It's more about how your thinking is evolving. And it may take shape now. It may even happen at when your son is 10 or even 14. Right? It isn't about a particular time that, okay, at this point of time, you should do like this. Yeah. There are even
Right.
people who have done schooling all this while, and after schooling decided, no, I don't want to go to a college. I just want to now drop out of this system. And I know of a person who did engineering 2 years, and after doing 2 years of engineering, left the college saying, no, this is not for me. As in not the engineering, but the structured learning is not for me. I want to explore myself. I want to explore this world and see what I want to do in this life, and not just go in this whatever degree and job and whatever. So at any age, one can jump into whichever way one wants. Right? Just like there are people who get into a job and after some years of job say, no, I don't want any more job. I want to either start something of my own or buy a farm and live there. Or there's so many examples. You know, I want to do a whatever. I want to do so many different things. So as Dwiji would often say, Dwiji says, I'm an open learner. What that means is that there is no age definition to it. We are all open learners, because even today I'm thinking, what do I want to do? How do I want to do? How do I want to spend my day, week, month, year, whatever? So there's no hurry. Okay. And that's our motto, go slow, but discuss and talk, and in that way, if you want to talk to more people, more families, we can put you on to, and you can chat with more families. I think that's a wonderful way. Plus, you can always come here. We also have a concept called Family Week, which happens almost once in almost a month, you can say, or once between 2 months, where there are other families also coming in, and you can come into the campus at that time. So you get to interact with other families, or you can come at any point in the campus. You may not have other families, but at least you will get to experience with children. So that's one option. So like that, that's my advice, that just go slow and think, talk. Yeah.
And in case if we are looking to visit, I'll get in touch with you, and then if you can let me know how to go about it. What
just
are the
visit our website.
available?
There is a visit page on our website. You will get all the information there.
Okay.
There's a small form including where you can register. There's a calendar which will tell you which weeks you can come. Choose your week. The invitation is for you to come over and stay. Even your younger one, we would love to play with the 7-year-old, 7-month-old, sorry, as well as the 7-year-old, right? So the invitation is open anytime.
Excellent, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot of questions we need to find answers to, and it's more about convincing ourselves rather than anything else. It's like, say, it's from within that we need to be sure about what is right. I mean, whether we will be able to have Advait choose his own future, is that right for us? And are we convinced that's the right thing for him, is what we'll have to explore. But I think it's at least there is a ray of hope saying, look, people, things won't go horribly wrong. If you were to do that, at least some people have tested it out. So it's been helpful being here. But I wouldn't say I'm it's all clear. There are a lot of questions, but we will connect again.
It won't happen so soon. This clarity takes sometimes years, and sometimes it's good to not have clarity whole life, so that one is constantly thinking, analyzing, evaluating, reflecting. So it's a journey. Right? The assurance is you can always go back. That is the big assurance. It's not go back in the sense, if you let's just imagine you say, okay, I want to take him out of the school. Let him decide what he wants to learn and do and stuff like that. Right? At home, let's say. Okay. And after 1 year, you say, nahi, ye nahi chal raha hai, let him go back to school. That is where he will benefit more. Let's assume he'll go back to school. There's no loss as such. Right? So that is the best part. So it is not like an irreversible decision that you have taken a plunge and you can't. It's like saying, let me live in, let's say, whatever, Australia for 1 year and see how Australia is. If I don't like it, I'll come back to India. It's like that. It's as simple as that.
No, some of the questions I'll just air. I know I've eaten into a lot of your time. See, both me and my wife are like explorers, to say that we've lived our life. God's grace. We've done a lot of traveling. We've been spending on experiences. right?
Sure,
Like
sure.
doing different things, seeing different places, living in different conditions, driving, flying
Yeah.
around, adventure. So we've like, that's the life that we really have. And I also harbor plans. We have I have a small farm in Mysore. um I am like egging to spend my time there, like looking for a farmhouse, like
Sure,
vegetable
sure.
garden, lot of the stuff. But I think the worry, or rather the question that constantly comes to, is like, what will you do for a living? How will you find 2 square meals? That's the biggest question that most people fret over, and I think I'm no different. So it just, we'll have to like, allow faith to post some more faith in the kids ability,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
figure it out, saying, hey, it might work. Because see, the structure is dissolving right now. I know
Yeah.
people my age who are not working even like 1 hour, but just dealing in cryptocurrency, like traveling in different places, trading, making their 2 square meals without having a formal employee ID.
Yeah,
What I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
think we don't know how things will evolve in 20 years time, when we
Yeah.
believed, or maybe. So I feel we are trying to um, like put the variable in of my son, or like the children's variable in our equation.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the thing. So, but anyways, I will connect again.
Sure.
I'll go through your website. I'll see whether if we can visit some point in time and see how
Yeah.
it goes, and we'll take it from there.
Makes sense.
But
Just to remind you, this Saturday we meet every Saturday, so you can come back for more dialogue,
yeah,
more questions,
uh-huh.
and so on and so forth. And also, we have been doing this for almost now, what, 1.5 years, almost nearing to 2 years. So there are so many recordings of so many parents sharing their journey.
Yeah,
Right? There's so many stories. So
I
you can
have
even,
I've
yeah.
seen, I've gone through your
So you
I've
can
gone
even
through.
look at that. And as I said, if you want
Yeah,
to just talk to more parents, maybe over phone or whatever, just let me know. I can send you contacts and you can connect with them. So just send me a mail.
yeah,
I'll give
I
you a,
will keep in touch. I will
sure,
see how we
sure.
can. What I might also ask of you, if I can do that, is see, right now, how can I keep my son engaged with what's there, and what are some learning resources for him, is one of the questions we have. So maybe that also I can just bounce it off you guys, because it's tough to keep him occupied. um, that's
Well,
one of
I
the
would
things.
say, more than asking me, you have to
uh,
ask him. Start asking him.
uh,
Okay. And that's the simplest advice I can give you. Just ask him every day. Because how much you will ask me and how many ideas will I give you when I don't even know him? Right? The best person to ask, what do you want to do tomorrow? Let's say tonight you sit with him and say, hey, what do you want to do tomorrow? This is what I want to do. This is what mama wants to do. Now, what do you want to do tomorrow? And let him come up with. Some ideas might be crazy. Some ideas may not resonate with what you would like him to do. But
right.
first, we need to invite him to think for himself. The
Oh,
moment
he is
you
already planning, sir. He is
absolutely,
like
then there is no
full on.
issue at it. Then there is no issue at all. And then to value add to it, you can bring in more exposures. You would say, oh, would you like to try this, or would you like to try that, and so on, to whatever extent you can. I think that itself is an amazing journey. Right? That becomes
That
so much
way he's
beautiful.
like exceptional.
Then I
Like,
wouldn't bother at all. Right? I would say,
oh
let
my
him.
God, you're like every night, just to make him sleep, he'll be so
Which is good news.
Yeah. So I need to step out, folks. So
Yeah, me too.
okay. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we can pause for here today.
Yes,
And
yes.
nice talking to you, Krishna Prasad.
Yeah.
Let's connect
sorry, I
again.
was getting another call. But yeah,
No
I'll
problem.
connect with you, sir. I think
Sure.
it's
Yeah, sure.
there. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
where we have some direction.
Okay.
We'll seek your help.
Yeah.
Support.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye. Thanks,
weekend.
Vijay. Bye.